What's up, guys? Jeremy with the G Wagoon Show. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning into this episode. It is brought to you by my boy Craig Fleming at Fleming's Cleaning. Go ahead and use code word GWAT13 and get 10% off your next commercial or residential cleaning if you're in the San Antonio area. It's summer. You guys don't want to do stuff. We're on vacation. Kids are going crazy. Go ahead and hit my boy. Also, if you have it, please go ahead and hit the subscription button. Go ahead and like, comment, and share this content. We're available on all major platforms: Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Okay, we're also available on Spotify. So if you guys like to listen while you're driving, go ahead and hit us up on Spotify. Hit the subscription button. My next guest is a funny dude. Okay, he goes by Hot Guy Rich Hero on his major social media platforms. He's the coolest Army career counselor in the reserves, and can't wait for you guys to check out this episode. And without further ado, let's get into it. Ryan Lapointe.
What's going on, Jeremy?
How you doing today, brother?
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to let you know, man, you're a funny ass dude.
Appreciate it. I really appreciate that.
Hey, I'm not gonna say the joke, but the November joke is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I got you.
I was telling my wife about it. That one and then the gunner one is hilarious, dude.
Yeah, it's titled Whiskey Bravo. Yeah, my wife even made me a shirt that says Whiskey Bravo. So sometimes I'll wear it when I go places and do comedy.
Yeah, how did you get into the whole comedy thing?
Me and my friends, growing up, I always watched a bunch of comedy. My dad showed me a lot of stand-up, and one of my friends, we just always saw ourselves doing it. We talked about stand-up a bunch. I did drama in high school, so I kind of had like a stage presence. And then later on, throughout the military, I got in trouble when I was a younger soldier. So some of my punishments when I was, the lowest ranking dude in the unit, they were like, "Hey, you're gonna brief all 200 of these privates every single time they come through here." And I just got used to being in front of large groups, and if you kind of treat your audience like it's a private, you don't give a fuck what they think, and it's just like it's the easiest way to be in front of people and talk to them and kind of making them laugh. And then I was living in New Hampshire. This is like 2016, and one of my friends, my wife's girl, her boyfriend was doing stand up at an open mic, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come and try it out?" So I went and did it. It's, if you watch the video, it's fucking horrible, but I mean, like, it was fun, and I had a good time. And then slowly I started to just kind of get into it more and more, open micing while I was up in New England. I was serving up there as like an AGR soldier. And then I moved out here to Oklahoma, and I had to serve in an E8 position for like a year and a half. So I didn't have any time to do any more comedy. And once a master sergeant finally came in and took my job, I was able to like have some time to do some comedy. So I signed up for a local open mic, and the group here and they were just like, "Hey, let's start getting you on shows, man. You're pretty good." Dude, so I've just been the last 2.5 years. Yeah, I've been doing just straight, steady comedy.
Yeah, you're very creative too, man. I was watching all your stuff, and I mean, obviously, I found you, and
thank you,
dude. I mean, you're pretty funny, and I think it's even better. Like if you're in our situation, you get the humor.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, you knew your audience, and like, I mean, you ran with it, dude. It's funny because we're constant like talking trash to each other all the time, and it's just like, you got to find it, And I think you did a great job, dude. And I'm gonna plug you down in the description below and stuff like that, dude. But
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So for everybody that doesn't know that's watching this, he's in the AGR. We're gonna get into his earlier life. If anybody's wondering what AGR is, Active Guard Reserve. So if you have any questions about the Guard, right, or their reserves?
Yep. Oh no, it's reserve, but there's AGR for the Guard and for the Army Reserve.
Yeah, so if you have any question about that stuff, you can hit him down. I'll put all his, like I said, his socials in the description. But he was not, before he was a recruiter, he was an 11 Bravo.
Yep.
So, and
it's actually it's career counselor now. It's, even though we're both 79 series, 79 Romeo is recruiter, 79 Victor is Army Reserve career counselor. So I do retention and transitions, But I mean,
Yeah.
like you're kind of right. Part of that transition process is we have to go after the inactive soldiers and be like, hey, you want to be a reservist?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an element of recruiting to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to talk to me when I was getting out. It was kind of weird. Dude, hey man,
Yeah.
dude, I was a staff sergeant medic, dude, and I'm like nobody wanted to talk to me. My first sergeant
Yeah.
was like the only one, like, hey man, you sure you don't want to stay? And I'm like, hell no, dude. I mean, I give you kudos, bro. Like obviously you could see the transition. We're not gonna talk a lot. We're not gonna get into it, but you saw the transition from when you started till now, and it's
Oh yeah.
you got a lot of heart, dude, for sticking it out this far.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I have like a running skit on here. It's like every infantryman has the same upbringing. So, like, how was your childhood? Was it rough? Like, what was your parents around?
Normal. My dad was a drill sergeant. I was an army brat for the first half of my childhood.
Yeah,
And once he was at like 12 years, my mom didn't want to do any more of it, being a dependa. So they moved back to New Hampshire, where they were from originally. And then
yeah,
the rest of my childhood, I just grew up in southwestern New Hampshire until I became an adult. I tried to go become a professional skateboarder, realized I wasn't that fucking good, and
yeah,
then went on to my second choice, which my whole life I wanted to be in the army. My dad was infantry, so I knew I wanted to go along those lines. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, they made fucking SF just look so cool. So I
yeah,
tried, I went 18 X-ray, but when I was joining the army, I talked to a colonel to go 18 X-ray, and I had like a few prior convictions for underage drinking. And the guy he was a full bird colonel. And he's like, hey, he's like, you're good right now. I see you got in trouble a couple times. Just fucking don't get in trouble before you go to the army. He's like, you only have like 2 weeks left, and then you're shipping out. You'll be an
yeah,
18 X-ray, and you'll go off to airborne after you're done with OSA, and then off to fucking, the Q course or selection in the Q course. And the 2 nights I think before I was supposed to ship out, I threw a party at my parents' house and got arrested for underage drinking. So they
yeah,
were just like, you can go infantry. And they threw $18,000 in my face because at the time, like, the war on terror was new. They were
yeah,
fucking, they didn't give a shit if you had tattoos on your hands and your fucking face. They would have taken you in the army. So
yeah,
I took the 18 grand as an 11 Bravo and ran with it. And, but honestly, knowing myself now and like how I learn, I wouldn't have passed that course. I'm not smart enough to just get shit like that and go, be like, okay, now I'm a Green Beret.
right,
It takes me a lot of failure to learn how to do my job and do the right thing and then excel at it. I got to learn a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of failure in that process. So being
yeah,
an 11 Bravo is too easy for that.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was just trying to sign up as an 18 X-ray. I wanted to go be special forces, as from a civilian into that world. And I threw a party at my house after that colonel told me don't get in trouble again after having 2 prior convictions that were underage drinking. I got in trouble. I got arrested, and then after that, that whole was gone, the contract. So they offered me 11 Bravo and threw $18,000 in my face, 52,000 for college. So I just took it and ran with it. Went to
Right.
Fort Benning for it was during Hurricane Katrina. I was there, and then
Let me
after that,
let me ask you a
what's up?
question. Let me ask you a question. So what year is this?
This is 2005. Yeah, summer of
Okay, so
2005, going into
yeah,
the fall and winter.
how old were you when 9/11 happened?
Oh shit. Let's see. That was 2001. So I was about to turn 17. Yeah.
17. And you said your dad was already out of the army by this time?
Yep. Yeah, he got
Okay,
out
cool.
in 92 or 90. No. Yeah, he got out in 94. That's what it was.
Yeah. So did you have anything like, hey, I want to go serve the country because of Iraq or
Um,
not because of 9/11?
I kind of did. I had these. I was back and forth. I wanted to join the army and be infantry or SF, and my dad was just like, fucking drill sergeant asshole all the time. So it was like I started skateboarding more, and I realized you could be a professional skateboarder or snowboarder because I was into that too, and I was more leaning toward doing that and just having the army as like a fallback plan.
Right.
In '04, I moved out west with a friend from New Hampshire. We were going to go out to LA, and then we wind up going out to Phoenix, Mesa area, and just fucking like stayed there. I didn't like it out west. I realized like I didn't even make it to LA, and everybody in Phoenix was already a better skateboarder than me. I was going to like competitions and seeing little kids just like dominate everything. And I wasn't skating switch, so I wasn't gonna make anything. And
Yeah.
it was just a hard realization of like, not this ain't what's happening. So I
Yeah.
fucking turned my back on it, and then went back to New Hampshire after about a year of just kind of like, hooking up with a chick and pretty
Yeah.
much thinking you're in love kind of shit. Once that was over with, it was like, okay, it's time to move the fuck on. Let's do the army. And that was the summer of '05.
Okay, cool, cool. And everybody knows that infantry basic is in Fort Benning, Georgia. I don't know what it's called now, but
Oh,
how
it's
did you?
back to Benning. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, they found some like random specialist or some shit and just named it after him. That did some shit.
That sounds like some army, but that's good though for our
Yeah. Yeah,
chef
yeah.
ships out there, dude. All right, so
It's
uh,
it's so also so they don't like have to name it after a Confederate general slave owner, and it doesn't piss off everybody else who's fucking crazy about it like that.
yeah. Um, so how did you feel about infantry basic, dude? You're a skateboarder, so like you're in the heat
Yeah.
of like, hey, Viva La Bam
Oh,
era, you know what I'm saying?
man.
And
Yeah.
you're probably in good shape, dude, right? So how did you feel
I
like?
was
And
I
you,
was so skinny. Like I'm still kind of skinny now. I
yeah,
fluctuate between 150 to 170s. But like back then I think I was like 135, 140. And
uh-huh,
I was just partying all the time with my friends, just doing dumb drugs and fucking trying out different things and not taking care
yeah,
of myself. But then once I went into the military, I was like, I just want to do the best I can. I was in A group all the time. I was eating as healthy as I possibly could, but in basic, you're just happy to eat anything.
yeah. A
Fucking
group is a running group. Uh, it's a ability group run, right? That's what they call it, or some
yeah.
shit like that. And A group is like the fastest people. So that's good that he's like that. PT stud, man. There we go.
It saved my career later on being a not a PT stud, but a good runner. That shit had some weight to carry back in the day.
Yeah. So how long? Okay, so when you get your when you finish infantry basic training, did you end up going to airborne school or anything like that, or no?
No, yeah, no, I had no promises like that. I did hometown recruiting,
That's
and then
cool.
after that, yeah, I mean, I just went and partied my whole ass off for I went home, and they just wanted to like call people or get me to get people in, so I gave them back then. Remember, like cell phones were new, so I didn't have a cell phone on me, but I had a whole
Uh,
sheet of paper that had all my friends' numbers on it, so I just
right.
gave that shit to them. Was like, there you go, call them all up. And they were just happy over that. I think they even got one person to join. So they were just like, hey, you don't even have to do the second week of this shit. Like, just go hang out and enjoy yourself before you got to go to Germany.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
that,
So
yeah.
your first duty station was Germany, huh?
Yep. Schweinfurt. It was 126 Blue Spaders.
What a
They,
wild time to be an 18-year-old over there.
I was actually just turning 21. I turned 21
Oh,
before I got there. Yeah.
okay.
And they fucking treated us worse than basic training. They were
The
all
Germans or the base?
well, the soldiers, the NCOs, and everybody
Oh,
else who, especially because like everyone just came back from Samara, Iraq the year before, so
yeah.
they did that, and then a couple years before that they did like the Balkan stuff. They were out in Macedonia, they were in Bosnia, Kosovo. So these guys had deployed many times before, and we
Right,
were
right.
just new guys going there, and they also had like a legit combat deployment. And but they were just talking, and like their rules of engagement were so far-fetched and crazy that people wouldn't believe it. And like that's what they expected us to be like in Baghdad when we deployed there. And it was just, I mean, we had I don't know, I think I sent you the stuff about like at the time, I don't know if like by the end of the war we were still considered that, but we were the hardest hit unit for the history of the whole war as far as conventional forces go. We had the most casualties
Yeah.
in East Baghdad. Our task force split up into two groups. They sent half of us. Our Bravo company went to Ramadi with some of our tankers from our brigade,
Yeah.
and then we took some of their platoons, kind of thing, and went to Baghdad and shit. And even though we had a book written about some of the shit we did and all this other crazy stuff, we were in the Army Times, 4 different in a row articles that they had just for us. We got back, and on the cover of the Army Times, it had our crust all crushed up and burned looking, and they called us blood brothers, and it said right on there, no one was hit harder, kind of shit. And we
Yeah.
had no fucking clue. I just thought everybody got down like that.
Yeah.
And it was pretty crazy, you know. But
Yeah.
our Ramadi brothers who went to their our Bravo company, they had an insane story as well. Like that new warfare movie they're technically part of that. They're the ones who went and recovered those Navy SEALs in that movie.
Oh wow. Okay.
Their story
So
is just not as well told as like our story in Baghdad.
yeah, I mean, I kind of talked to you about this. It's kind of like why I started this podcast, because if you're not a New
Yeah,
York Times bestseller, or you're not a
right.
what do they call them, Instagram influencer,
Yeah,
you're not gonna be known what's going on out there. So you get to your unit. That's your first duty station, right?
Germany. Yeah,
Yeah, and you get there around like what 2000, late
it was
2005, 2006.
December 2005. I showed up
Okay,
when everyone was gone for Christmas leave.
yeah.
So yeah, we showed up and got in trouble a whole bunch, and then they came back and just fucking fucked us up nonstop.
How was the because you deployed in 2006, so how was the tempo of the unit, you know?
I mean, they were hard chargers. It was mechanized. Everyone back then, like if you were a private, everyone treated you like shit, all the way through specialist. Like unless you were an NCO, no one gave a fuck about you unless you were just funny or some shit. I
Yeah.
I got in trouble right when I got there. Like I initially became an alpha team leader for my squad because we just didn't have anybody else. And then I immediately got fired for like getting in trouble.
Right.
The day before the 45-day field problem to Hohenfeld and Grafenwehr, they were like, "Don't drink." And then I went out and got wasted. And me and my buddy got into like we wound up punching out a window in downtown Schweinfurt, and we both got in like trouble over it. And I was on extra duty then, so I did 45 days for that. And
Uh,
then we went to the field the next day after I got in trouble. So we did 45 days in the field. We get to go on leave, and because I did well in the field, they let me go on leave. I go home and then I come back and piss hot, but like not right away. I get pissed. I do my 45 days, but about 40 days into it, they're like, "Hey, you pissed hot, so you gotta go." I like literally came off extra duty, and then within a week went back on extra duty, did another 45, and then a week before my deployment, I got off extra duty and deployed. I was a fuzzy chest that whole fucking time until the very end. They were
yeah.
like, "Yo," they're like, "Hey, we don't know. Like, you're supposed to be getting promoted to specialist. We don't know if we fucked up or they did." And they're like, "So just here's E2. Next week, throw on E3. The next week after that, you'll get E4." And then fucking like my boss the day I got E4 was like, "I know you don't want to stay in the army, but like if I make you a corporal and send you to the board, will you consider it?" And I was like, "Hell yeah," even though I really wasn't going to, but I said I'd do that. But then I wound up still fucking doing that. Here I am 19 and a half years later.
Dude,
Oh
boy
shit,
has
actually almost 20.
so like when I first got in the army, it was like it's like how you're talking, you know what I mean? Now it's like zero tolerance
Yeah.
type stuff, dude. Like even if you're a stud PT person, you're gonna get hammered hard.
I had 3 field grades though. And the third one was for the second piss test failed. I was at E5. It was here at Fort Sill. My
Yeah.
whole range was smoking weed out in the fucking woods. Like
Mhm.
everybody there on my range was just like smoking pot, and I just happened to pop hot on a test. So I had to do bump down to E4. I was the lowest ranking dude in the whole company. It was
Yeah.
just nothing but infantry instructors here on Fort Sill.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I had to, earn my shit back by going to the boards and all that shit, and going to like post boards, soldier of the year and all that shit.
Yeah. So
So
so you deploy from Germany and you're fuzzy. How is the so you're a senior fuzzy though, which everybody doesn't know is an E1. Like what are you guys getting briefed about? I so you guys go to Kuwait, right? And
yep.
what are you guys getting
Oh
briefed?
yeah, yeah.
No.
We were told the whole time we're going to Ramadi, 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 and then we've hit Kuwait. and they're like, "Hey, it's changed. You're going to Baghdad now." And it's like, okay, had no fucking clue what was going on. We weren't even technically supposed to deploy. Our colonel, our brigade commander, just like really wanted us to go ahead of time. So when we went, we were pretty much attached to just everybody who owned the battle space at that time.
Yeah.
I think when we got there, it was 101st, and then they switched out, and then we went under 82nd, and then after that, it was First Cav the whole time, all 15 months in Baghdad. Like
Oh
we were
damn, you
just,
were there 15 months, dude.
yep, yeah.
Damn,
I
that's a
felt
long
bad. Those dudes,
time,
the dudes
dude.
that were the dudes in Alaska, we replaced them as well, and well, not replaced them, but they left like shortly after we got there. They
Yeah.
flew back, stayed for like a couple days to a week, and then had to come back and finish out their 15 months.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I thought I saw you guys leave, and they're all like, yeah, we're back.
Yeah, my buddy I had on here, I don't know when this episode is gonna drop because I'm ahead, but my buddy on here, Cicado, he was in that Alaska unit and he got
Yeah,
extended. So
sucks,
that's
dude.
dude, it does suck, dude. Like there's a bunch of people that got extended, dude. People don't realize,
We
man.
we were pissed because like originally they said 9 months, and then it was 12 months, and then it became 15, and like the amount of people that died after that 12-month mark was like insane. To include like we had a whole Bradley, we had two Bradleys in our Charlie, or one in our Charlie company, one in my Alpha company, but in the Alpha company was our first platoon sergeant's Bradley, and
Yeah,
it killed everybody inside. Same with the one in Charlie company, but like it was just like we felt like all this shit was unnecessary. They didn't
yeah,
need to die. We could have fucking gone home,
yeah,
and it is what it is, you know.
yeah. So what is Baghdad like at this time? Because a lot of people, I mean, they think of Baghdad like
Yeah.
Baghdad back when the invasion happened. Like, what is it like? Who are you guys fighting
Oof.
and stuff?
So it was a lot of Al Qaeda, Iraqi Al Qaeda, and then there was actually at the time it was like the Mahdi militia who was in Sadr City. They used to call it what is it, Saddam City. And if you
Mhm.
look at a map of Baghdad in the northeast section of it, you'll be like, "What is that? It looks different than everything. It's like a diamond in it." And it's called Sadr City. It was all. I'm probably gonna fuck this up and piss off Muslims, but so I can't remember which that I think most of Iraq is Sunni. Am I correct?
Oh,
And
dude,
then so like whichever one is not the major population, but the rest of the Muslim world is the major population. And like
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Iran, um, they were in like the Iranian type Muslims, the Shias, I want to say, they were in Sadr City, and they were like it was Muqtada al-Sadr at the time. He was one of their
Mhm.
head clerics or whatever they are, and he was like telling them to stand up against us and fight us. So we got there and they were like, hey, don't go into Sadr City. And when we would drive by it to go check on like the Iraqi police and armies, checkpoints, little kids would come running out of the streets just like holding Molotovs and throwing them at us and shit. We got in trouble. We were on the news because like people were shooting kids with fucking the beanbag guns and shit. And they
Hey,
most of the
man,
time they didn't mix it.
they're trying to hurt you. You know what I mean? So you got to do what you got to do.
I I didn't blame them.
Yeah. Hey,
But
war is war for people that don't know, man.
it
It's not sunshines and rainbows, dude. It's not
our
like TV.
yeah, our operating area for me, we were QRF, but we had a bunch of all over the eastern side of Baghdad in different sectors. But our Charlie company was mostly in Adamiyah, and Adamiyah is like Saddam's favorite people were there. And when our Charlie company was there, they lost so many people they just couldn't operate like the way they needed to. And also they had people that were like saying they weren't going out. There was a
Yeah.
lot of shit going on.
Were they
But
losing by
like,
ID or like they getting shot or what?
yeah, IEDs a lot of the times. That kid, like Ross McGinnis, the Medal of Honor recipient, they threw a grenade in for his shit. And he fucking sat on the grenade, saving everybody else in the vehicle and killing himself pretty much.
Yeah.
That would happen. Some people were getting shot by snipers. Like there was back in the day, there was something they were putting online called the Baghdad Sniper. I don't know if it was more than one person or not, but like I remember my lieutenant colonel from that deployment, he was on there getting shot.
Dang.
He didn't die, but like he was. I remember we would go online and like watch these videos and shit, and be like, oh shit, our fucking BC got shot.
Yeah.
Um, there was just like RPGs sometimes would come out of, nowhere and hurt somebody, or small arms fire. It was mostly that. Occasionally there'd be mortar rounds that would hit the bases,
Right.
but like they would do weird shit. Like they would just leave mortar tubes out in these big open fields and like have ice in them. So when the ice melted, it would like set it off or some shit.
What? That's
Yeah,
wild.
they were pretty creative.
Yeah, I say it a lot on this show is that even though they were a bunch of like the Taliban and all them, they seem like they're what's the word,
Yeah.
ignorant and stuff, but they're
Oh
very
yeah.
creative. They're smart, dude.
The worst thing we saw, and I remember we lost someone like left their rifle in a internet cafe on our base,
Yeah.
and like someone jacked it and then brought it to a porta john and took the optic off it. So we had to walk around for like all night looking on this base, and we went through the boneyard that was like all their broke, fucked up vehicles. And I remember going and seeing like Abrams and Bradleys, the shit we're driving around in, and you in those things, and you're like, oh, I'm so safe. But then they had shit called EFPs, entry form penetrators. I don't know if you remember those.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a copper dome, and then on the backside of it was the bomb, and wherever they put it, when it blew up, that fucking copper immediately turned to molten, and it went so fast. There was like nothing in the U.S. arsenal that could stop this shit. My
Yeah.
boy, my boy Jay Fain, he was in my company. He goes by Jay Limp. Also, I don't know if you know like Crispy 11B. He was in my unit. He was in our Charlie company.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah,
what. Yeah, they those guys, they got fucked up a bit. But Fane, he got his leg taken off by an EFP when he
yeah.
was there. Um, and those things, it was just crazy to see that because nothing could stop that shit.
Yeah.
And it was anyone's guess if you were gonna die or not in it. And those Bradleys had reactive armor, the shit that blows back out if a
Right.
bomb blows up because it's like C4, C3, whatever composite. And just like seeing that shit, those tanks and those Bradleys with holes right through them was pretty fucking scary. That was like probably the scariest shit there was just those things going off and just fucking because once that armor catches, it hits the flash point. There's
Yeah.
no putting it out. It doesn't matter what you do to it. And when our platoon sergeant in our first platoon, when he got killed or his Bradley got destroyed, the whole thing, they said that some of the people were trying to climb out of it, like the driver, but the rounds cooked off the 25 millimeter high explosives.
Oh
And
dang.
that's what fucking killed them inside, was like them trying to get out and then that happening. So it was crazy. And I was first I started off as a squad designated marksman when I was there, and then I became a Humvee gunner. And after a little while I became a Bradley gunner. When I became the Bradley gunner, my Bradley commander had this mentality of being like, I don't give a fuck, I'm up front. Like we're number one Bradley in the fucking line. Like I don't give a shit. We had a little pirate flag we used to hang off of our Bradley to kind of
Uh-huh.
let people know, like, if you fuck with us, we're fucking shit up.
Yeah.
And my mentality, because of this whole thing, like me being like, I'm probably gonna die in this shit because I'm front Bradley every time, and that's what they're targeting. I was like, you fuck with me at all, I'm gonna destroy every motherfucking car on this street. I don't give a fuck. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that not only those people hate me, but they hate you because you did that shit to me.
Yeah.
So that was our mentality. We fucked up a lot of shit with our Bradley. Our Bradley crew unofficially was called Home Wrecker Crew. It kind of worked on multiple levels there.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I mean, it's important to highlight here that oh man, I'm not gonna say infantrymen, this is what they want. This is their job, right? And dude, everybody I've had on, everybody has the same mindset. Like we're gonna fuck you up no matter what. And that's important. That's more important than like you looking Gucci out there. Like you need to
yeah,
have that mindset that this is the enemy. Granted, probably they're not all bad, right? Granted, right? But at the time, like this is what we get, dude. We don't
yeah,
have time to reflect on it like we do now. We're like, oh, not everybody was bad. Then everybody's trying to kill you, dude. There's nothing you can
yeah.
do.
It was a lot of them ratting each other out too, just so we'd go fuck up the other side. Because like there was a civil war that was about to erupt in Baghdad between those two Muslim groups. And then at the end of it all, the thing that stopped it from pretty much happening
Yeah.
was we put up a wall around that whole city of Adamiyah. It was like, the T barriers that are like fucking 10 or 12 feet high.
The concrete
We
ones, yeah.
Yep, we put a whole wall all the way around the city inside there. You know, it's like the size of Manhattan or some shit. I don't know, but like they only had one way of going in the city, one way of getting out with their cars.
Yeah.
And after we did that, like the deaths went from like insanely high numbers every single week to like one or two a week. So like from them just killing each other.
Wow.
So I mean, I like to think that, you know, my unit helped stop an entire civil war from breaking out in Baghdad.
I mean, yeah, that's good to show too, like, because people think we just went over there and we're just following politicians' orders, because
Yeah, there was
when
a
I,
lot of hearts and minds shit too, you know,
yeah,
giving people backpacks and school kids whatever they needed for school. Those people just, you see it in the United States too, when poor people, they just beg for everything, you know, they just want whatever they
yeah,
can fucking get. I don't blame them. And you
yeah.
get asshole soldiers that giving them a bottle of piss. One thing I noticed though, Iraqi kids do not like Tootsie Rolls, bro. Not at all. They don't eat those things.
Dude, yeah,
I think
dude,
it was the piss that threw them off.
dude, it's funny. I don't mean to laugh, but that's a true statement, man. Like them dudes are throwing rocks at us and stuff, dude. You're like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. I
dude, there's
remember
like chunk.
we would we would leave like a meeting with people at a school, and then as we're going out, you just see all the rocks come flying through the air like the arrows in 300. Just like fucking assholes, man. I got a slingshot at one point, like a wrist rocket slingshot, just in case like I had people trying to fuck with me doing shit like that. And then
Yeah,
I would just get like a bunch of different rocks or marbles and fucking, if you're fucking around, dude, I'll fucking peg you with this shit.
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. So you spent 15 months you said over there on that first
Yep.
one,
Yep.
and what? So you came back around like what, '07, like March.
Yeah. It was, oh no, it was, let's see, I went there in August '06 and I came out October '07.
Oh, okay, wow, man, that's a big difference. And you did the R&R thing or no?
Yep. Yeah. I went home. I was one of the first people to go home.
Dude,
My sister
what
was
break?
getting married. Yeah, my sister was getting married, so like I went to her wedding and you know, just fucking tried to lay down some pipe before I had to go back. That's pretty much what my whole 2 weeks was there.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
did you did you want to come back or no?
Um, I mean, I kind of had that sense of like my dudes, my friends are all over there, and I'm not in it with them right now. But at the same time, there was that feeling of like this
Relief.
could be the last time I ever fucking see my friends and family again. You
Yeah.
know, so I live a lot of my life just kind of saying fuck it, you know, especially like those boards when you got to knock on the door and you just got to sometimes say fuck it and get in there and do whatever the fuck it is you got to do. That's what
Yeah.
I kind of gotten myself a lot through my life with saying is like, just fuck it, just do it. If you're going to fail, it's whatever you're going to fail. As long as you're not dead, you can still try to do it again and accomplish what you're doing.
Right. Right. Yeah. So October '07. What is your life like right now in the army? Like, I know that you said that, hey, we'll give you corporal or
Yeah,
what,
I
like,
was corporal promotable. Every when we got back to Germany, everybody started like switching things up for our platoon because people are PCSing and retiring. So
yeah.
we didn't have enough NCOs, so I became a corporal squad leader. But at the time, also I was like I got home on my after tour leave and
Yeah.
just married the first dumb slut that I met, pretty much. And yeah, so I
Lower
it,
enlisted things, dude. Lower enlisted things, dude.
it was a lot of like thinking about what I wanted to do if I was to compartmentalize my life. Like, what do you really want to do in life if you do die? Because you came close to it. You know, I got my gray hair I've had since I was 22
Yeah.
um, because of that deployment, and it just gets worse every year. But you start thinking about these things, and I was like, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of just I kind of fell on it just as easy as every other fucking private does,
Yeah.
you know. And I went home, met up with her, brought her out to Germany, and then later I was like, "What do you want to do? You want me to go back to Iraq here in under a year? Because that's what they were planning on doing,
Uh-huh.
or do you want me to re-enlist? And if I re-enlist, I can go somewhere else that might not deploy." So I
Right.
chose to come here to Fort Sill to be a range cadre with my friends, who were like, "Yeah, come to Fort Sill. That's what we're doing." And then that's what I did for the next 3 years after that. In February of '08, I left there to come over to Fort Sill.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. What's
Yeah.
what is the change of the unit besides range cadre? You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I mean, going from like an actual infantry unit to just like fat old instructors who are like, most of them are broken dudes. A lot of them were guys getting ready for either the
retirement.
Q, they were getting ready for the Q course or they were getting ready for selection. Um, it was just like everybody was mostly staff sergeants and E7s, and nobody stood at parade rest for anybody. And then when I did get in trouble, my platoon sergeant sat me down, my range chief, and he's just like, "Hey man," he's like, "You're a piece of shit soldier, and let me tell you why." He's like, he's like, "You're the lowest ranking dude in this whole unit," and because I was a specialist at the time, but
Yeah,
I was an E5 there for a while, and they were like, "You don't, all these dudes don't stand at parade arrest for anybody, they don't call anybody sergeant." He's like, "And you're just accustomed to being around them and not doing it." He's like, "So you got to get back to the basics if you want to get your rank back." He's like, "Stop being a piece of shit soldier and do these things." And I took his word for like, fucking like I needed to do it. And that's
yeah.
what I focused on, was just trying to be the best soldier I could.
Uh-huh.
When I was asking for my rank back, they were like, "Hey, nobody wants to go to these soldier of the month boards. Prove that you prove something to us." So I was like, "Okay." And I was like, whatever, you got to do these boards anyways. And I was like,
Yeah,
I passed one before. How hard could it be? And
right.
I just did it for like 6 or 7 months. I went up to the Fort Sills post board too as a soldier, and then they let me go back to the five board. And when they finally like 6 months after getting my five back, they were like, "Hey, you want to go back? Do you want to get your six?" So I started doing the NCO of the month boards to prepare. And then when I finally went to the sixth board, all they asked me was the NCO creed. I was expecting it to be the hardest board of my life, and now that's all they asked me, because they were like, "Hey, you did all these boards before, so we already know you know this shit. We're not going to ask you all this
Yeah.
dumb shit."
Did
So that
you
was pretty cool.
did you know before you talking to that your platoon sergeant, like, hey, I'm gonna make this a career, or like you were like, hey, I'm gonna get out, or
Three and done, bro. Three and done. And here I am. I'm about to hit 20 years next month.
damn, dude.
Three and
Hey,
done. I did get out at 10, but had to plan to switch over from active to AGR.
okay,
So yeah.
yeah. So anybody that's going through a hard time in the military, you can make a comeback, dude. All right, we
Oh
got
man,
we got we got living proof right here.
I only know one person with no more field grades than me. He was on extra duty with me when we were back in
Uh-huh.
the day. He's stationed here at Fort Sill too. We were in that unit in Germany together. But it's like unheard of nowadays. If you do some too many bad things, they'll just kick your ass out because
Yeah,
they don't want to deal with it.
that's
And
sad.
you can't smoke people anymore, so they would rather just put it on paper, not do any of that shit.
Yeah,
So I was just fortunate enough to, one, be in a time frame where they'll just like, "Hey, we'll just fuck you up," and that'll be good enough. And then like two, if you were a good runner, like that saved your fucking life, dude. I had a lot of things, to include a baby on the way, really helped my situation. I was like motivated to stay. I was actually like a good NCO even though I was smoking weed. But like I was doing everything that my like seniors and peers were like, "Oh, this kid's getting after it out there," volunteering for shit and doing all these kind of different things. So that kind of saved me a bit. If I was just a shitbag soldier, because I had a kid at my range too before I ever pissed hot, he pissed hot,
yeah,
and then but he just wasn't a good soldier, and they were like, "Get the fuck out."
yeah. I
So
mean, just because you have a few mistakes doesn't mean that you're a bad soldier, dude. There's a lot of
not at all.
dude back then. It was like I remember when I first got there. They were telling me you can even make sergeant major without getting DUI, dude.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, the culture changed a lot. That nobody wants to put the effort in. It's all about fast promotions, and it's like it's just weird, dude. Like I couldn't
it's
I couldn't adapt to it, dude. It was hard.
it's crazy in the infantry because I believe it's that and maybe like SOCOM shit, but that's like the fastest route you can get for making rank, at least. I remember dudes saying 7 and 7 all the time. Like, you're good if you're 7 and 7.
Yeah,
I got 6 and 6, and
yeah, me
I
too, me
didn't
too.
I didn't get my seven until I hit like year 12 or 13 or some shit.
Uh huh.
It was funny though, when I got my third field grade, they were like, "Just be prepared, you'll never make E7." but none of those dudes knew anything about how the promotions in the Army Reserve work.
Uh-huh.
So when I switched over and I was qualified for the rank, I got promoted to 7. So
That's cool. So, how long were you at Fort Sill?
the first time I was here for almost 3 years.
3 years. So, like
Yeah.
2011, you left.
2000, technically the December 2012. That day I went to the board for the 6th. That was my first day of leave to go for that.
Oh,
I,
okay,
I, I
cool.
went to the board my first day. Some dudes tried to fuck my packet up who didn't like me. They
Yeah.
sabotaged my shit, and my sergeant major liked me. So the next month, my first day of leave, instead of leaving, I went to the board, and that's why they gave me the shit. And then, like, literally right after that, I just got in my U-Haul and took off to drive
Yeah.
up to the Northeast.
Okay. Did you? So you get to? Man, that's crazy, dude. That 2012 December, I left to Afghanistan. We were in the same area. No, I was under his unit umbrella rather. So you go to Third ID like what time?
Well, after there, I went to Korea with 2-9 Infantry up in Camp Casey. I did a
Okay.
year with them up in 2011, and then the beginning of 2012, I go over to Camp Casey. I mean, I'm not Camp Casey, Fort Stewart,
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm getting my
Third
years
ID,
mixed up. Okay, I'm getting my years mixed up. So you
and
get 2011 December is when you go to Camp
yep,
Casey. Okay.
yep. Spent the year with them, just mechanized infantry bullshit. I was a light squad leader there for as a dismount,
Yeah.
and then it was just drinking. That's all it really was, training and drinking. It was
Yeah.
funny because like I remember my first sergeant would hit me up. He was the coolest first sergeant ever too, and he'd be like, "Hey man, I need you to go. I need you to go out to the range, Rodriguez Range down and around the corner." He's like, "You gotta hang out there for a couple of days and do some shit." And I was like, "First sergeant, I'm drunk," and he's like, "I don't care. Bring your shit with you." So he didn't give a fuck, dude. He was that kind
Yeah.
of first sergeant that would like have all the platoon sergeants in the office and he'd crack open a bottle and just start drinking with them all and shit.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
Yeah, Korea's got awesome fried chicken too. I don't know if anybody knows that.
oh
Korea's
yeah, yeah.
got chicken and beer is like the thing over there.
You
So
know what I miss, man? I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but they had those Listerine balls in their fucking cigarettes and the Marlboros.
uh-huh.
So it was called like Marlboro Cool or some shit. I don't remember.
Yeah, you
Those
pop
are
them
like the
right.
best. Yep.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
cool. I think I first had those in Afghanistan, dude. I want to say.
Probably. I think I saw them over there too.
Yeah. So you do your year in Korea, infantry, and then like you leave when like 2012, like
It was
December.
January 2012.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I take about a month off. I go down in February, I want to say, to Fort Stewart, Georgia, report there. And they
20,
assign
2012.
2012. Yeah.
Okay, 2012. Okay. Well, so
Uh,
you left SIL December 2011,
yep.
right? Then you were there for a year, and then so this is December 2012 of
Oh no, this is
Korea, right?
Jan. Uh, so Korea ended in January 2012, and
Okay,
then
okay,
from there I went over to Fort Stewart at February
yeah,
2012, and yeah, no, it was fun. It was light infantry. They're 4th Brigade at the time. They're not. They're 2nd Brigade now.
yeah,
But it was funny when I showed up. I was supposed to go to a different unit, and all these people are trying to take me. And then a dude walks in who's the first sergeant, and he was like, he sees my combat patch, and he just goes, "Oh shit, first ID, where at?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Schweinfurt, Germany, first sergeant." And he goes, "No shit, me too. Which fucking unit?" And I was like, "126." And he's just like, "No shit, me too. Which company?" "Alpha." "No shit, me too. I got you, bro. Come with me." And then like the commander was also a blue spader too. So when he showed up, he's like, "Look, we got another blue spader," and they just fucking loved me.
yeah,
And the following year, we trained up at Stewart all year. Went to JRTC to train up too, and then we went to Iraq, Afghanistan in February 2013.
What are you hearing? So like, what are you hearing from people that've been to Afghanistan compared to Iraq? What are you hearing?
Um, I was in the city in Baghdad and everything, so like a lot of people they said small differences, very small, minute differences. It's definitely not the same languages and shit, but like um, a lot of the stuff was more snipers at long distance, super long distance engagements where someone's like shooting at you, possibly with just an AK-47, and you
Yeah.
just hear some shit hiss by, and you're like, "What the fuck was that?" You don't even hear the shit pop off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, it was that. It was we were just doing route clearance for engineers. We were like protecting them most of the time, like
Uh-huh.
90% of the time. That was what we were doing
Yeah.
up and down Route 1.
Yeah.
We would go from just south of Kabul all the way down to the gates of Ghazni. Like that was our area. And certain areas where they were like super heavy vegetation, they would just put fucking IEDs all through the roads as much as they could. It was like the same spots over and over again.
Yeah.
Or these like they call them toe poppers. They were undetectable mines that they have these things called the Goldies that could be like the metal detectors they would go with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I know.
they nothing could detect these fucking things. Only dogs could detect them. And what's fucked up is our dog handler got relieved for abusing his own medication. So, and then that mission right after he did that, we were supposed to have the dog with us, and some dude stepped onto one of those and fucking blew his fucking foot off.
Oh wow. Yeah. So man, Afghanistan's a weird area, dude, right? Like I feel like a lot of the common theme has been like the people of Afghanistan don't really care. I feel like it's culture too because the Afghans have fought so many wars and they've won.
Yeah,
And it's just like they already know, like, hey, even whatever we do, like it's not gonna matter, you know.
I bet. I bet there's a lot of that to it. Yeah. Just people constantly for like since who knows how long going into their country, never winning. Like doesn't
Yeah.
matter how long they've been there for, always retreating and then them just holding out. They're the best, dude. They are the best at holding out. And I remember thinking to myself, like, how many of these fucking Taliban dudes could be left? And then you watch, like, as they started to break down, and leave Afghanistan, all of them just fucking rushing out, into the cities and everywhere else. And you're just like, holy shit, they were just lying in waiting.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know how they do it, man. I mean, that area is like really hard to live in too, man.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Oh, man.
So
Super hot during the summer, super cold during the winter.
yeah. How many years are you in the army at this point?
At that point, 8. Yeah.
8. And you're already in the mindset that like, hey, I'm gonna go to the reserves or
Nope, not at all.
no. No.
No, my squad leader friend, we were both squad leaders together. He was my roommate. He let me live in his house before I moved or deployed with him.
Yeah.
He's my best friend. He was my best man at my wedding. His name's Master Sergeant James Robertson. Shout out to him.
Shout out.
But his dad was doing the job already as an AGR, E8 on AGR, and we already knew about that lifestyle. But I never like thought of that being my career. And then my buddy, he was supposed to go be a drill sergeant, but he signed a deck statement,
Yeah.
and they didn't want to let him. They didn't want to let him deploy with us because he had to leave like halfway through the deployment to go ETS.
Yeah.
So they let him deploy. Then he leaves, ETSs, and then signs up with the Army Reserve and does exactly what we're doing now. So he started before me, probably like 2 years before me doing this job.
Uh-huh.
And when I was about to get out, it was funny. I was, so we're skipping into the future a little bit here, but like this is 2014. I'm a small arms master gunner instructor for Fort Stewart. I'm their primary instructor. And then I'm also helping out with our pre-ranger course, which we call the combat leaders course. That was like our other section in the unit. And if
Yeah.
I wasn't teaching small arms master gunnery, I had to help teach with pre-ranger shit.
Right.
So like I just got done. It's like February and I'm coming out of the swamps of Fort Stewart, just freezing my balls off, doing patrols and grading them. And my buddy, he's like, hey, man, we're doing our annual training over at Hilton Head Island. You want to fucking come over and hang out? He's like, bring your ASU or bring your fancy pants uniform. So I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't know what that means. I go out there. We're in a fucking hotel. His dad's best friends with the incoming and outgoing sergeant majors. And like, we're all drinking moonshine. The next day we're on the beach drinking moonshine at this hotel. And I'm just like, this is what y'all do for fucking army training, dude? And they're like, yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? And I'm like, sign me the fuck up, dude. Sign me the fuck up. Like,
Dude.
And then they helped me attain that whole thing, what I was trying to get to, which is doing that.
Yeah.
becoming an AGR 79 Victor Army Reserve Career Counselor.
Yeah, for people who don't know, that AGR is probably the best kept secret in the military. And I tried to get into the AGR when I was in the Guard, but they were trying to move me to a completely different city, and I was like, dude, I'm not mobile right now. I can't do it.
Yeah.
But the spot was
Yeah.
open in my unit, and I was like, dude, yeah, sign me up. I was like already doing it for like 2 months, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna slide right in, dude. Nah, they
Yeah.
totally didn't happen, dude. So, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, the AGR is the best kept secret in the Army. So
I started out first off as like we call it TPU, the Troops Program Unit. It's like all the part timers, weekend warriors. But like I had to start out in Londonderry, New Hampshire, up there, and then when I applied for AGR, I asked my buddy, I was like, "Hey, on this application, what's this shit say about like criminal history?" And he's like, "Oh man, they don't give a fuck about that shit." He's like, "Just fucking submit it. They need AGRs." No, they did
yeah.
give a fuck about that shit. Because if you fuck up your application, you're withheld from the whole board process for an entire year. So I
Yeah.
had to wait. I had to wait like 3/4 of a year to reapply to that shit. And then once I was good, I reapplied and got it right away. I put on all my Article 15s on there, which is what they wanted to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I first did Londonderry when I got AGR. Went to Worcester, Massachusetts, and then a couple years later, I changed my job from retention and transitions to officer accessions. So I started like I would find reservists who were qualified or almost qualified to go to WOCS or OCS, Warrant Officer Commissioning School or Officer Candidacy School, and I would just build their packets to submit them to the board, and we were like mission to actually get them selected. And I did that for 2 years, and then
Yeah.
once I stopped doing that, I put myself kind of on orders to come out here to Oklahoma. My landlord sold his house where I was living at in Western Connecticut. I was only there just so I could have custody of my kid, and he decides to sell his house. So I got put on orders to come out here to live in my house, which I bought back in '09, and I just held on to ever since.
Right.
And then yeah, me and my wife been here the last 4 years now.
How do you feel transitioning over, right? Because you've been in the infantry for what 10 years, maybe 9.5 years before you
It
make the
was
switch to
yeah,
the Guard.
it was 10 years.
Yeah.
Um
How are you feeling,
it I mean it's a completely different world. Like
dude? Yeah.
I did like being NCO in the infantry, like especially squad leader. I would say there's probably no better job in the army than being an infantry squad leader. There's a lot of headache that goes along with it too. The dumb shit soldiers do and shit. I got tired of like, especially in Korea, having to go down to the MP station and pick dudes up. I was the only happy soldier when fucking curfew came back, I think. And but like the difference, the mindset is 100% different. Most of these
Uh-huh.
people in the Army Reserve, I don't know how it is on active duty anymore because I haven't been a part of it like
For sure.
that, especially in the infantry world. But there's like a lot of negative stuff that could be said with like just the connotation of how soldiers are talked to, disrespect. And I really don't know like the level of discipline that's going on nowadays in those types of units. Because when I was a infantry squad leader, I could make a soldier do whatever I wanted pretty much as long as it wasn't like illegal or immoral or unethical.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, I don't even know like how they're making soldiers do the things they have to do, especially now. I was before females integrated into it, and I don't have anything bad to say about females. But like I always was like this just can't be good for soldiers who've never been incorporated with them in the past.
Yeah.
And soldiers who are sergeants major right now in the infantry that I know that are good friends of mine, and I ask them these questions like, is this a good thing? Like, how's it going with your females and everything? And most of the time, it's like, oh, they get pregnant. That's what happens. And I was like, that's what I figured would happen.
Yeah. We're not trying to talk down to females or anything like that.
Not at all. Not at
It's
all.
just, dude. I made a meme about it on my page, and it's just like, dude, it's just like it's a natural thing that humans are gonna do, right?
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying about the level of soldier, like discipline and stuff like that. I'm not saying I was the most disciplined soldier ever at all,
Yeah.
100%. But like I had soldiers when I was a section NCOSC, dude. They weren't saluting the flag in the morning, dude. Right?
Yeah.
And dude, I smoked them so hard. And my wife remembers that at the time, and she remembers my company commander coming and yelling at me for smoking them for that. And I was like,
Yeah.
dude, come on, that's like the basic customs and courtesies type thing you can do,
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you wouldn't miss the regular army. Obviously, I don't think anybody would. We miss our
So what
bros,
a lot
right?
of people don't know this about. Oh, I was gonna say a lot of people don't know this about the AGR program, but like we don't do formations. We don't do PT like everybody else. I go to the gym and I get my workout in, but
Yeah,
like we are completely different. And in that whole sense, the fact that we don't do that crap, like morning PT scheduled with everybody else doing PRT, like that's enough reason why I'm like, I'll never go back to active
yeah,
duty. But on the other flip end of it all, what's funny about all this, and I say that, is we're constantly reminded, especially my unit, because we're career counselors, and if shit pops off, like we're the ones who are going to get selected to go, especially all us infantry dudes. We're the ones who'd be like, hey, they're going to need platoon sergeants. And guess who they're going to pick from? Because Army Reserve career counselors are not going to be needed if World War III pops off.
yeah,
They're like all that IRR, all those inactive people, they're like, they're probably going to get activated and they're not going to need you calling them. They might need people, re-enlisted people, but they're not going to need you in the Army Reserve doing it. They're like,
yeah,
they're going to activate you and they're going to put you in some sort of infantry unit or other and making you do that shit if some sort of World War III, China, those types of situations really pop off. So we're reminded of it quite frequently of like how lucky we are and our, prima
yeah.
donna status.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a good job. People don't understand how great this job
Yeah.
is.
No field. I don't have to shoot a weapon at all. Like we don't qualify. We do weapons familiarization. If I want to go qualify, I'll go qualify because I do. I'll go shoot at the Army Reserve Small Arms Championships. I did the All Army last time, like 2 years ago. I enjoy that kind of stuff, but like we don't have to qualify with an M4. Whenever we go to like meet up, my unit is spread out all over Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, and Oklahoma. So we
Yeah.
only get together occasionally every couple times a year.
Hmm.
And when we do, it's like we're just getting our training knocked out and we're not, it's in hotels. We go to the embassy.
Yeah, yeah. You're doing like Air Force stuff.
It's pretty much along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I mean, at least you got to this point because you think about how you basically were a knucklehead. Like you you were
100%.
going up and then dude, honestly, like I don't think people realize how hard his first deployment was. I have a few guests on that talk about like the early days of Iraq and yeah, you see us cracking jokes. We got dark humor, just like any other infantry, like medic type people. But dude, that I mean, I'm not saying it like haunts you forever, but it's like it is kind of a thing that you have to deal with, And you're not allowed to cope with things, You just got to continue the mission stuff.
Yeah. I'm I always tell even my old soldiers this. I'm like, I'm not the same person I was before when I was in the infantry. If I went back, I wouldn't even be the same person. Like there's a lot of humbleness that's come from me switching over and caring more about soldiers and their actual problems and trying to help them every way I can. The amount of things that I'm given for access and whatnot and the ability to help them or find a way to help them, either through
Mhm.
that, like I can find anybody at all. I can find them like a number, an email, like there's ways I can help soldiers in a bunch of different ways. Whether like someone's like, hey, I'm trying to just figure out who's in this unit, where's the soldier at, some stuff like that. Trying to
Yeah,
figure out what vacancies are available for me to go into. What could I do potentially? How could my career progress beyond what I'm doing right now? Like most people
yeah,
don't know. So these are the things that I do when I talk to them. Is I talk to them about where they are right now and how I could project their potential for what they could do, like either short term goal or long term goal if they want to
yeah.
stay in.
How
So
would you say the difference of like soldiering is compared to like, hey, when you were an infantry squad leader compared to now? Like, obviously they're weekend warriors type thing. You know what I mean? So
if on Fort Sill, I see the active people all the time. So I mean,
yeah.
like you get a mixed bag of a full variety of people, and
Uh huh.
um, standards have definitely changed. But I think some people still enforce it in certain ways.
Right.
Um, And as long as they're not going crazy like some of the people did back in probably your past and my past, you
Hmm.
know, you're sitting there maybe 5 hours into a smoke session that was just like you didn't have your shoes tied or some shit. It's
Yeah.
like, really? You
Just
wasted 5 hours of my fucking time just to flex your rank? But
yeah,
you don't see that anymore. If you were to walk around Fort Sill, I've yet to see anyone get corrected over anything.
yeah. It's a
And
big culture
especially when
change.
you walk over by the reserve side. Yeah. Um, I think regardless though, the Army as a full force is still gonna like carry on. They're still gonna like if they need to train those dudes in the infantry. Every time I see stuff like online or friends that I know that are still doing it, I'm just like, you're doing the same shit I was doing. So there's no difference. You still have to go out and do that battle buddy bounding, live fire, you know, and
Yeah,
STX or whatever, the team, squad, like all the way up until it gets to the very end before you got to deploy. But
yeah,
like there's still all those tasks that everybody has to do. So it's not like you can't fake the funk when you have to go, you know, overcome the objective and do
yeah,
it with your squad leader. And if you fuck it all up, your squad leader is going to be told, "Hey, you fucked this up,"
yeah.
because officers are still relentless.
Okay, I got two questions to ask you. So, like, what advice would you give somebody? Because okay, so you're big on the socials, so it's like, what advice? You see this all the time, dude. Like the Memorial Day is coming up, right? We're not bashing our guys that we lost or anything. There's people that are taking it. I'm not saying that they don't get over it, but I'm saying is that they're letting that stuff become their, for lack of a better terms, identity, and then they
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm not saying like, hey, we're better than anybody or anything like that, but like, how would you help? How would you tell these people to like, hey, kind of, you got to get over the hump at some point, dude. Like, you know,
It happened to me too, you know, and I wear like I got my motherfucking Whoopie hoodie kind of shit. So like there's times
yeah,
when you can tell easily I'm a veteran or at least in the military.
yeah, you look like a skater,
But
dude.
like, yeah, thanks. It's probably the facial hair, the shaving
Yeah,
profile. Um, but like I did that, you know, I was wearing the fucking grunt style shit, even though I didn't buy it for myself. It was people buying them for me.
yeah,
It was just because I don't know. I wanted to associate with that. I had like a certain mindset of it all, especially fresh infantry squad leader. I was going places and not giving a fuck, like
yeah,
in the realm of like, could this be dangerous for me and my girlfriend at the time, now wife? And I was just like, whatever. I've been everywhere and I'm not afraid of anything. So I'm putting myself and my girlfriend at the time in dangerous situations that I didn't need to put myself into, just
yeah,
to be like flex on the fact that I was a fucking soldier in a combat zone. Like, who cares?
yeah,
As far as just that mentality, like once I leave the army, I don't mind doing veteran things and all that, but I don't want it to be my identity. Like, I don't want
yeah,
everybody to just go to that. And I've had people reach out and be like, "Hey, would you mind doing stuff with my job or whatever, you know, this organization I made that's all veteran owned." And
yeah,
a lot of times I'm just like, "Hey, I appreciate the offer, but like, one, I'm not trying to get into sales, and two, like, I'm fully for the veteran community. It's just I'm not trying to portray that 24/7 as if that's my only fucking thing
yeah,
in life. Like I'm a one horse trick pony."
yeah. No, for sure. And I talked about this in one of my previous podcasts. It's like the Memorial Day coming up, right? And people are like, you can't celebrate Memorial Day or do whatever. But like you and I both know that our friends that died, they were freaking alcoholics and they wanted to party. So it's like, dude, I'm not gonna
Cheers.
sit. I used, yeah. Cheers. I used to be like that though. I used to be real depressed and stuff like that. But then I got out of. I don't know how. I didn't. I won't say I got out of it completely, but it's like I started looking at it differently. Like, hey, these dudes want me to celebrate their life and stuff like that. I'm not saying go out and be a drunk asshole, but I'm saying
Yeah,
like, you know. And I think
I
that's
would.
important that people,
I would
yeah,
if that was me.
yeah,
Yeah. I I don't like I always tell people when they get all emotional and that kind of shit, like especially talking about death. If it's my death, like celebrate my life, man. Like I'm not here to fucking have people just cry about me when I'm gone. I hope I made a difference in people's lives. I put an impact on them that was a positive thing.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes I have soldiers reach out to me and they're like, yo, you were a dickhead to me and I fucking hated you for it. And now we're friends for this shit. I just gave a kid money over the whole thing, being like, he needed help, so I gave him a couple bucks here. But it was
Yeah.
just like, you know, that's not who I am. I have the same feelings for some of those dudes that treated me like shit, but I don't make it, it's not held over my head like it's ruining my fucking life. You need to let go of these things.
Yeah.
Like those dudes were doing what they thought was the best at the time, and they've grown since then, the same way we all have.
Yeah.
So I was in that position too. I made those decisions. Some people got treated like shit. Some people got treated better than others because they either performed better or made me laugh. I don't know what it was, one or the other. But we all gotta fucking grow. And as far as that, like mentality of just maintaining, anybody who maintains their whole fucking life that, ooh, I was a veteran and that's all that there ever was and ever will be, you gotta move on from it, bro. Like it's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool. Thanks for your service. We all did cool shit. I'm not taking away from anybody else's shit what they did, whether they're a fobbit or whether they're killing dudes and getting shot at every single fucking day of the fucking week when they're out there outside of sector. Results may vary. We all
Uh,
did it. Thanks for their
yeah.
service, and hopefully we can move on with our fucking lives.
Yeah, and celebrate your bros or your girls that died over there
Oh,
too, man. Like, you know
hell
what I
yeah.
mean? They're not gonna want us. They're not gonna want us cooped up in the house. They want to see us like happy and thriving, dude. It's
Yeah.
just that's
The only
something
thing
very
I
important.
don't do on Veterans Day, I don't get the free meal. I just don't care. I don't want to go out,
Dude,
like it's not my thing. I
dude,
know dudes that are like, I'm hitting up my third restaurant today or
dude.
fourth restaurant.
If you ever come down to San Antonio, there's a place I will
Oh, I'm
take
sure.
you. There's a
I'm
place,
sure I
dude.
will.
I had to take, yeah. So, um, you already answered my second question too. I was gonna say like, hey, what are you gonna tell a soldier that was in hardship, man? And it's kind of like, especially right now, like a lot of, like you said, everything's paper, paper, paper. They want to push people out so fast and stuff. And like, yeah, like I said, you bounce back, and I know people are quick to kick people out now, but like, would you tell them like, hey, you got to wake up, snap up faster, or
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. A lot of young kids just don't want to hear shit from like people. Like nobody
yeah,
looks from like an elder person for their experiences unless they like have something that's like, oh, that guy did that. What? But
yeah,
like even I get on TikTok all the time and I see these fucking comments from kids that are like, we don't give a fuck. I hope you die. Like, like they
yeah,
just don't give a shit. And I had that mentality a little bit when I got to Germany where I was like, you're a piece of shit specialist. Like, you think I care just because you went to fucking Samara before I did? Like, the only
yeah,
difference between me and you is you joined before me. Like, and that was like 2 years difference.
yeah,
Now, thinking about it like fucking years and years later, I mean, there's something to it, and I shouldn't have been such a little bitch about it. I should have fucking listened to him and been like, okay, you guys are trying to give me some good advice here, and not just being assholes to me, but they were
yeah,
assholes too sometimes.
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if I could tell myself something, I know people were assholes, but it's just, dude, honestly, sometimes people have the right advice. You just don't want to hear it when you're young, dude. Honestly,
Yeah, my parents didn't want to. I mean, I fucking did everything the hard way. I did not listen to anybody like I should have,
uh,
and I got in trouble a bunch of times. I had to pick myself up, dust myself off, and continue on. Like
right?
resiliency is something strong with this fucking dude. And but listening to people's advice, I is
Yeah.
something I definitely needed to do a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Talk to people too, man. Like I'm very outgoing. I like to talk to a lot of people. So, well, we're coming up on the end of this podcast, brother, and I really appreciate the conversation. It's been freaking hilarious, dude, and I hope to keep talking to you in the future. Do you have any questions for me, man, or anything like that?
Man, why'd you start the podcast?
Okay, so I started it to kind of just bring the band back together. You know, like my
Yeah,
boys from the
I got you.
infantry, and
Hell
then
yeah,
like they were like, "Hey, man, this is kind of therapeutic," and I'm like, "All right."
it
so
is.
then, yeah, so then
It was.
and then I was like, I started thinking about it. Like I said earlier on this podcast, is like, unless you're a New York Times bestseller or you're a freaking a military influencer, like nobody knows what really happened in Iraq or what really happens in the army. And you do get a lot of podcasts that are like the Army's stupid or dope. Yeah, it is, but it's a machine and it's gonna keep running, right? And I really did it to highlight the guys that served like you in the early days of Iraq and people that were
Yeah.
in Afghanistan, because I think it's important and it's gonna be told to our grandkids one day, you know. So
Yeah.
that's it, man.
Me and my buddy wanted to do the same thing you did. Yeah, we
Uh-huh.
were going to do this exact same thing, just interviewing anyone and everyone, didn't matter who they were, just
Yeah.
former, military service members, whether they
Yeah.
deployed or not, but hearing their stories and just kind of how it went for them. And I picked that up because I was at a VFW, and in the VFW I was at when I was hanging out with some guys during a whole function, a Vietnam veteran came to me and he was just like, I've never talked to anybody before about Vietnam, or the way you talk to me, because I wanted to know their, like, hey, were you guys in patrol base operations? Like, how did it happen? Like, did you,
Yeah. Yeah.
my uncle was a Marine, and he's like, we did a Marine invasion. We landed on the beach, and then that was our fucking our operating base that we just took
Yeah.
over right then and there. So I had like interest in hearing these things that I never like understood or knew about. And then me and my
Uh-huh.
buddy were gonna do a podcast in a similar fashion. And then I saw yours. I was like, fucking hey, you got this. Got it. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, dude. I mean, it's just a work in progress, dude. You know, working full time and then doing this, dude. But meeting
Yeah.
cool people like yourself, dude, and everything like that. It's like I said, I like to talk to people, so it's great, dude. Honestly, if I don't even make money off of it, dude, it's
You're,
just good
you're doing great, man.
meeting people. Cool. But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So that's it, man.
Well,
That's all I
thanks for
got for
having me.
you. Of course, man. I appreciate it and hope we keep in touch, dude. And don't log off yet. Just there's a percentage somewhere around there, and then just let it upload, and then that's it, dude. All right, brother. Take it easy.
Cool, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. I'm gonna go ahead and link Ryan's social media down below. He's also a funny dude. Go ahead and check out his comedy shows and everything like that. If you haven't done so, if you made it this far already, go ahead and subscribe and share. Okay, I'm gonna keep reiterating it. If you have anybody that you like on the show, please shoot them my way. And with that, we'll catch you on the next one.